Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I would like to acknowledge at this time the parties, the patient family, Shriners Benevolent Charity Hospital, Malpractice Mary, and Dr. Decisive. This case was brought here today because of the wrongful death of Polly patient. One emergency room visit turned into a living nightmare for the patient family. Polly's life was at stake before she even arrived because managing Mike, the staffing manager of the hospital, placed an inexperienced nurse in the emergency room. Polly was rushed to the emergency room unconscious, blue around the lips, and breathing irregularly. Without any further thinking, Dr. Decisive immediately suspected an opioid overdose. While attending to a car wreck, Dr. Decisive immediately suspected an opioid overdose. While attending to a car wreck patient, Dr. Decisive yelled across the room, "Mary, give her 1 milligram of Narcan, stat." Mary was not properly trained in this department, and she began panicking because she didn't even know where the Narcan was located. She eventually collapsed on the floor and began crying uncontrollably. While all this was going on, Polly's life was coming to an end. Dr. Decisive even placed the blame on Mary. Either way, these healthcare professionals have a standard of care they must abide by. One must act as a similarly situated, reasonable person with similar skills and attributes would have acted. Managing Mike, Malpractice Mary, and Dr. Decisive were all negligent when it came to the care of Polly. There was a duty owed to Polly. That duty was breached due to the fact of these healthcare professionals' failure to exercise the proper standard of care. This breach was the proximate cause of Polly's death. The elements of a healthcare liability cause of action include a recognized standard of acceptable professional practice at the time the wrongful action occurred. The defendant failed to act with ordinary and reasonable care in accordance with such standard care, and as a proximate result of the defendant's negligent act, the plaintiff suffered injuries which would not have occurred. Respondent superior is also at stake. Mary was acting within the scope of her employer and under their direct supervision, which was managing Mike. I believe you, the jury, should compensate the patient family because of the overwhelming acts of negligence upon the defendants. Polly would still be here getting the proper help she needed if it were not for these acts. I assure that you, the jury, will do everything under the law to see that justice is served. Thank you in advance.